floor that I was like, actually, you know what? This is amazing. It's been probably the best World Cup that we've seen, we've experienced. Like my sister's out there, Stacey's out there. Stacey went to the England game. You get me? And she's
saying, she was like, yeah, I'm going to a match. I thought, nah.
And she's out there and she's like, all you got is just everyone from all the different countries getting together, and it's just a party atmosphere. She goes, it's football, it's a party atmosphere. She goes, but then when she looks on the news, it looks real negative, and it's putting the World Cup in a negative light, like, oh,
that's just the narrative.
The Qataris aren't welcoming. Do you know what I mean? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Blackdadslives. You're here with myself, Anton.
And me, Dan Dada Dash.
Rasta Dad.
I'm Rasta
Dad. Ollie Ep5, newest guy there, Black Dad's Live podcast. Mama made it.
Now you should already been a part of the podcast.
Let's not even go in.
You're always busy. Nah. Because you could have been here last time, but you're always busy.
Last time, car broke down. You seen the
Fair
AA
one.
shots. You seen the AA shots.
Yeah, fair one to be fair.
It's been a long time coming out still.
I know.
Nah, I'm here now, though, mate. Good, I'm here.
I know, bless. It's good to have you
man.
here.
Yeah, man, definitely.
And we've not got Idris with us today. But he will be back. He'll be back. You know that guy can't keep away.
You know the vibes.
You know the vibes. So yeah, one of the things I wanted to cover today was
England, yeah?
England, yeah? And the World Cup. Now, I want to talk about the World Cup, yeah.
Come on, lads.
Come on, lads.
Hey there.
You can do it, lads. Dig in. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that because it's been a bit... I've seen the propaganda that's come off the World Cup a bit and where it's been based. So talking about it obviously being based in Qatar and all the negative press that's come of it from the West. And I just wanted to really understand what your thoughts were initially on Qatar as a country, whether you've got this negative thoughts or whether you looked at the press and you thought, should be having the World Cup in this country where...
None of that stuff bothers me. I don't care where it's based. It could be based in my back garden. I'll still watch it. Obviously, I would if it's my back garden. But
yeah, you watch it live?
In reality, it's like
10 people.
I don't care where it's based. Like I'm just there. I'm just there to watch the football. Well, I'm not there, but yeah. Like regardless of what happens, think about it. The whole world and think about the world in itself. Not even just thinking about like particular countries. The whole world's effed in reality, and you'll always get your propaganda around everything or everywhere. Like some people like it, some people hate it, same way.
And more time, most of the people haven't even been there, so they've got an opinion on something that they've not even seen or been to, so that's small-minded.
Yeah, it
Makes
is.
no sense.
But then more time, you got people that are saying, nah, I won't go to Qatar, not been there. But then they've been Dubai, and Dubai have the exact same rules. That's what I'm saying, that's Qatar. The exact same rules.
It's mad, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
They're trying to push an agenda, aren't they, really?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And it's what suits them. Obviously,
it's what sells, isn't it?
Yeah.
Negative information sells.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
I think because Piers Morgan came up with something. Don't get me wrong, now, this guy, do you know what? He annoys me.
I rate him though, you know.
Let me tell you why he annoys me. Let me tell you why he annoys me because this is why
Go on.
That's why he annoys me.
Why?
Because
you rate him?
I like the guy, yeah, but then he goes for Meghan. Or it does something that then just ruins it. You get me? And I think, oh, why? You get me? Like that whole Cristiano Ronaldo interview as well. You get me? Where that wasn't an interview. That was a chat with a friend.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But the way that it's also an interview.
Everyone else is grilled and gone in on.
That's what I'm saying. They've challenged them. So he had a certain narrative. But Piers, he went in on people that was. Do you know, like when you get all these celebrities, like even some of the lionesses that were saying, we're not going. We're not going to the World Cup because they've not got LGBTQ rights. You get me?
Yeah.
So obviously, if they're not going to be accepting of us, then why are we going to go to that country? And don't get me wrong, I don't think that is right for that country. Do you know what I mean? I think everyone should be able to live how they want to live. It's like when rainbow bucket hats.
Qatar's not saying don't come. if you're gay, are they? They're not saying that.
No, what they say, and this is what I was gonna say. What they're saying is, it's at PDA. It's at public display.
But then you can't. A man and woman can't do that same way.
That's what I was gonna say.
Do you know what I mean?
But
Man
that's
and
what
woman
going on.
can't do that.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah. Unless you're married, you can't. Even if you're married, do you know what I mean? They
don't want you doing that in the street.
That's where the information is getting kind of blindsided, though, innit? Because you
because
can come.
like,
They're not saying don't come if you're gay.
Because we're gonna shoot you or we're gonna arrest you.
The media's turning around saying, "Nah, we can't go there."
Wow. You're not allowed.
Of course you're allowed. You just can't, like you
But then
said,
think
do
about
PDA.
it. Like flip it to. Was it the World Cup that was in Ukraine or Euros or Russia or somewhere?
Russia
and then it was
in
like,
Russia.
black people shouldn't be going. Yeah. Like if you're like people like relatives of footballers weren't actually going because of like the narrative around it.
The narrative in it.
But again, it wasn't a case.
It wasn't highlighted as much as
Yeah,
this.
so it wasn't a case of like boom.
Nobody was standing up.
Yeah. Like, no one's
Nobody was
standing up,
taking
like,
it or
if
an
you
armband
man
or
don't want to
anything
go
like
and support your family,
Yeah, see that.
don't go in it.
Yeah,
You know
see
it's not safe. Don't
But
go.
everyone still wanted to watch it. No one wanted to boycott it.
Nah, no one wanted to boycott it.
No one wanted to
again,
boycott it. Everyone still wanted to go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, different narratives being pushed.
Yeah. Like
Simple as that.
I said, it's just mad. Like, but regardless of how it is or how it would appear to be, there's always a flip side of it. Like you said, people are gone and they could be having the time of their lives over there.
Yo, do you know the amount of social media posts that I read where man was walking down and then, like, I think one Wolves fan had the Wolves shirt on, innit? And
They
then
said, the Prince of someone
Sheikh-
just took them in.
some
Or,
Sheikh popped him up,
yeah.
like, you're a Wolves fan, come with me. Showing him all of his cars, showing him his lions.
Yeah, about the
and
man that
you
was
get me?
looking for beers and that. And then,
Yeah, and then
and
took him back to his house, you get me?
Yeah, but that's how welcoming like set people are in it in general. But you always get that in countries. Like,
Yeah, they're very hospitable, aren't they? But they're not commentating on that.
To be fair, even if we're going back then to the Russia World Cup, when everyone had the negative talk about it, like Don Robbie from the Arsenal Fan TV, the black guy, he went over there and he was, yo, when I tell you he had the time of his life in Russia, he had the time of his life and he was saying, nah, the fine with black people here, it's not even like that. Do you know what I mean?
That's with most countries though, like, think about it, like, if you're, say, going to be travelling abroad or anything along those lines, if you were to go on like the government website and search a country, it'll say like there's a high risk of X, Y, and Z, or the high risk of kidnap or high risk of that stuff happening. But in reality, it's like, what's our high risk in it? Is it as high as England or X, Y, and Z in it? Like,
To be fair, I did that. One of my boys was getting married, won't say his name. And he was going to one of them Eastern European countries, innit? So I thought, I've never heard of this place. Google. Don't go if you're black. Yeah, I'm not going there. I was like,
the first thing that came
yo,
up
the
when
guy
you got
said, he got off the plane, come out the airport, waiting for a taxi, and people making monkey jumps. I was like, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. But my boy changed his plans to accommodate for me, and I have to big him up for that. So nice ones. But
Right, changed his whole holiday
yeah,
location for
it's
you.
he's a stag do, innit? So we went somewhere else.
stag do,
Yeah. So we went somewhere else, and it was probably the best time of my life, or one of them. But like you're saying, innit, when you go online, it's just there's a lot of information, but a lot of misinformation as
then
well. innit?
when you go,
You gotta do your own
somewhere, it's
research.
like,
You just gotta go.
Because you could be walking down the street in England and people still be doing monkey jumps at you. Same
Yo.
way in it.
Yo, it's standard. And do you know what made me laugh? Because I think it might have been the Saudi coach, head coach, and Western reporter stopped him and said, "Oh, so what do you think to all the human rights to your country? What do you think to?" And started trying to get political with him. And he goes, "Whoa." He says, "This is strange." He said, "I've not heard one question to Gareth Southgate about Afghanistan or Iraq."
That's real.
Do you know what I mean? And it's true. It's true. No other foreign media is going over and going, "So Gareth, Saddam Hussein and his weapons of mass destruction. What happened to them?"
Yeah.
You could.
Why are you asking a football manager?
Thank you. Because Gareth's gonna say, "What's that got to do with me?" Do you know what I mean? I didn't make that decision. I didn't go over there. Do you know what I mean? I didn't send the troops. That wasn't him. Do you know what I mean? In the same way that it wasn't the Saudi football coach. Do you know what I mean?
And the players don't necessarily, they're representing the country, but they don't represent them in general. Just imagine, say for example, Wayne Rooney. He doesn't represent the whole of England and his values.
Nah, because obviously then everyone man be thinking that next man wants to bang a granny. You get me? That's not what we. That's not the English way. You get me? That's what you
so
think.
footballers don't represent like oh yeah, when the same thing with World Cup. If England played Germany or England played Argentina, it's always related to like the wars
always.
or
We
that.
got to beat the Germans. Why?
Yeah. We
Why
got to beat the
though?
Germans.
Yeah.
And you know what?
I play football with the Germans on a day-to-day basis. My club team and that.
Yeah. And I want you to get like up about it because I even get it in work sometimes and like, ugh, Germans, give it the Germans, and I'm just like, why? I'm like, nah, you have to drive the cars, isn't it? I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, what's the beef? Like, you get me? They didn't start the war. Do you know what I mean? No,
I don't even like when the war happened. It makes no sense.
Do you know what I mean? So why are we gonna hold on to that beef? It don't make no sense.
Just carrying on.
They just want to play football.
Yeah, that's exactly, man.
Do you know what I mean? But then they just clocked early on in the tournament the Iran team, they was why? Because at first, because obviously what's happening in their country now, with all the protests and everything that's going on there, they were trying to protest on the pitch innit, and got told that they weren't allowed to protest. So what they did in their first game in the group stages, they covered their mouths up for the national anthem and didn't sing like to protest against it. But
I think Germany did that as well, didn't they?
Yeah, but Germany's on the next team. Germany's on the next team. So then they said, but they refused to sing national anthem, innit?
Okay.
And then the word that I heard, innit, allegedly, I just put allegedly in there, allegedly, the government, the Iranian government basically said, well, we know where your extended families live. Wow. Don't disrespect the national anthem, you get me? So that's why the next game they came out and they were singing their hearts out. And then, and do you know what it struck to me when I realised it is because the players were singing their hearts out and then it panned onto the stadium on the crowd and all the fans were crying. And Laura was like, why are the fans crying? Is not enough? And then when I broke it down to her and I said what actually happened, she was like, oh. And it's realised how upsetting it is for those supporters in the crowd. Because when, in the first game, when they covered their mouths up, the supporters they was going sick for it, do you know what I mean? Because it was like, yes, the team's embracing us. But you understand that the national team isn't there really to make political statements.
And that's what everyone always expects these footballers to be politicians. Like, these guys, this is what they do. They play football.
I'm not being funny. Harry Kane, right, apparently he's intelligent, but my guy, I can't really understand what he's saying at the best of times, so he's probably not the best person to be campaigning about anything for you.
He's the English pin-up boy though, isn't he?
He is, I know, but gosh, like, it does...
We always have one though, don't we? And now it's Harry Kane.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be anyway.
No, it shouldn't be, but he's the...
No, but I'm just saying, everyone's pushing him to be wearing this rainbow armband. Like it's gonna to make a huge difference. It's like the knee. Now they're rushing to take the knee, to try and take the knee before the whistle goes, and you think, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? It's lost its impact.
It's like it's a certain character who can do that, and that's like ingrained with them from since birth. You can't expect someone who's not grown up fighting for something to then start fighting for something that, do you know what I mean? Because say for example, if you're black, you're gonna be deep down from early, you would have been like told about the injustices and whatnot from early. So in reality, when your time is to speak on it, it probably may all come out. Say for example, like Stern, like, nah, we're sick of this, and it's actually got to the point where they are sick of these things happening, and I start questioning things. For a white male, a lot of the time they have had that white privilege, so they've not necessarily had to fight anything like that unless they're coming from a lower class background. Do you know what I mean?
And do you know what, right? I just need to ask you to expand on that, because on the white privilege bit, the only reason being is because I get a lot of people coming up to me who watch the pod, white people, and a lot of time they would say, "Is the pod for us as well?"
Of course.
Because it's because of the name, because it's called Blackdadslives. So I say, So obviously it is. It's just, this is our view. We're all black dads, so it's our view through our eyes. You get me? But a lot of time with white privilege, people don't understand what it is. So could you just break it down a little bit more deeper so that people have understanding? Who's watching it say, right, okay. Maybe
different contexts to white privilege, though, innit? It's not just.
Yeah, but you could still break it down and give some examples of what white privilege is. Do you know what I mean?
A white privilege could be something as simple as going into a petrol station and filling up your tank and then paying. Do you know what I'm saying? At night time. Whereas as a black young male, or not even a young male, but as a black male, they might come on a tunnel and say, I pay first. So that's white privilege within itself, you get me? You know what I'm saying? Or going to a restaurant, we've got no space. Okay, cool. The white person walks in, we've got a table there. Simple as that. That's white privilege. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I understand what white privilege is.
You know what I'm saying?
You get me? So especially, then bringing it back to you in your context and what you were saying it, give an example, do you see my point? So then they'll be like, yeah, I see what you're saying there.
See, Harry Kane, for example, he's playing football at a football team where he's probably not had any problems in terms of like coaches. He's seen people, say for example, like I said previously with schools, if you can identify with someone, if you can see it, you can achieve it basically.
Yeah.
He's gone into a football club. The majority of the players, more than likely in a football team at their age level, are probably predominantly white. You probably get the odd few black people. Now it's probably changed because a lot of younger black players are coming through, and that's just naturally because that's just how society works. But then he probably hasn't had the struggles, obviously getting into teams, but he probably can fit in with everyone. Whereas if a black player goes into a football team, again, they have to then kind of not change who they are, but you have to adapt
work harder than your white counterpart, innit?
What is surrounding you. Say, for example, like cultural differences. That's the standard between black people and white people in terms of the music you're listening to, in terms of your social activities outside football. They may all be like, okay, we'll go around to each other's house. Do you know what I mean? Even from young, whereas the
black friend
may get left out, or even if they do, they may feel uncomfortable, might go around like, oh, I don't eat this type of food, or what, you eat that, you eat goats, or do you know what I mean, or you eat fufu or something like that. And just like that could just create a divide. So in terms of like, I'm saying for Harry Kane, it's probably not necessarily had to work hard to fit in, because that's just how society is around him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And I suppose is a white straight male.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just like so I suppose so.
Unless there was something different then, and say he may want to speak out in terms of classism, but that's probably for a footballer. This is me just being narrow-minded, but that's probably as far as it goes for them, innit?
Yeah. I would agree in that to a degree as well. For me, I think with the women's, like for instance, with the women's England team, and you get a few of them say that they want to boycott the World Cup and they was thrown up. Yeah, obviously a few of them may be homosexual, gay, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whereas obviously there's no openly gay men in the England men's team. So in men's football, really, I think there's one, isn't there? So I think for what my point is I could understand it more then if it would have been the Women's World Cup and you've got the captain of the England women's team who actually is a homosexual.
Because you're fighting for something
that
you
personally
believe in. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Right, okay.
There's that raw sense of belief. Like I said, Sterling speaks about racism because he raw believes in it. Harry Kane, obviously,
this is a narrative because he was talking about racism last year when that was a narrative. Yeah. So now that
he probably just feels inclined to do it because
he's being told to say it as well, though, isn't he? Being told to talk about it as well. Which
you have to flip it back to back in the day. Obviously, there was black players who obviously they probably felt a certain way, but they couldn't speak about things because even if they raw believed in it, they just felt a particular type of way to speak about it. So, like I said, it's a difficult one, innit? You can't really expect footballers. My whole point is to be politicians because their job and what they've been geared up to do is play football.
Yeah, correct. But you know what? One that does my head in, I'll put out there. John Barnes. I hate my man, you know. I hate my man because he's confused. Like, when he comes on, he tries talking about racial injustice and stuff like this. He always backs the wrong side. It's like he's confused with what's going on because of the life that he's living. I don't know. I don't really understand my man's background or his viewpoint on many things.
But then again, it's like I said, it's just like how he's been reared in it and what he's been surrounded by in it. Like when you've been a token for so long that you can have like a misguided,
a shallow house, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's like, I've had to deal with it, so everyone else should.
Yeah.
No,
it doesn't. But that's what I'm saying. That was surprising. That's my man's mentality, though, because it just comes from the things he comes out with. It just. I don't know, like I've watched him sometimes, you know, on the TV in the mornings and they'll come on and he's talking about white privilege and he's like, oh, well, I don't really think it's a thing.
Yeah, but then...
that's because you're a rich footballer.
But then it's mindset though as well. It is mindset. Don't get me wrong, like when I said like white privilege, obviously you can always flip it around and said, there is a black privilege in a sense. It just depends on how you want to flip and view things because you can embrace the fact that you're black and put like a very, very positive mindset on it. Do you know what I mean? To make it a privilege. And like I always say, the world is what you want to create around it. So you can always flip it. You can either look at things as a negative and like make it go, right, yeah, because this white privilege, I can't progress, I can't achieve. Or you can flip it and said, no, I can do this because I am black and I am going to, do you know what I mean? And I break down barriers.
Probably even got more standpoint on doing that now in terms of jobs, because businesses now have got other certain criteria or quota of diversity in it.
Yeah,
so you're probably more likely to get a job because you are black than someone who's white. Unfortunately, that's the way it is now.
Nah. To get a job, but then when we're talking about the jobs,
Yeah.
I mean, that's still a job for the boys. That's
Still a job for the boys.
But I seen something over there, like obviously when that these things, when you come in hard times, it's easy to put like black people in positions, but then in reality, like we're in a hard time, innit? So they always get the minorities to like clean up messes. Like even with the Windrush hard times, you bring the black people in, they do it, and then they get to a certain level. But in reality, what is it really? You're just being put in a position just for numbers, innit?
Yeah.
Not necessarily for
To meet the criteria, innit?
Yeah. Not necessarily for your skill set, but you have to like benefit on that though at the same time.
You have to benefit on it, definitely.
But yeah, like I said, it just depends on your mindset, innit? Like, all negatives can be changed into positives, innit? In reality.
yeah, I suppose so. It's just something I just wanted to highlight on the propaganda from the West, I think, because I think we sort of have a mindset, and then we try and the news, or we have a narrative and it gets forced upon everybody.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it annoys me because then when I'm looking at certain people then that are more narrow-minded and will just see and believe whatever they see, it's like, well, where would they then go then to get the real source? Like, so
they never will though. Narrow-minded people will never go and try the real source in it.
But this, for instance, or uneducated then, shall we say? Because
narrow-minded ignorance.
So I didn't. So for instance, with the whole Qatar World Cup thing, yeah, and when you're hearing out about all the deaths that are happening, all this that's happening, that women are oppressed. Do you know what I mean? And all this lot, and oh yeah, women. They can't even walk down the street without having a male escort. Yeah. And then I had a chat with my sister, and my sister was like, I don't know why the West is so upset about it. Like, if you speak to Qataris and you speak to the Qatari women, they'll be like, no, why would you walk by yourself? It's safer. It's safer to walk with a man like that. And it's just, you just feel safer.
Yeah,
like, and they're
the amount of women that would love to be able to walk around the streets at night over here, but they feel like they can't do because of like safety reasons. If you got someone there protecting you, then you know what I mean. You'd probably be able to embrace something like taking a walk at night or going for a jog at night. Or, do you know what I mean?
And they're more active at night anyway, the Qataris, because it's cooler.
It's the desert, innit?
You know what I'm saying? It's cooler, so a lot of them are going to be more around at night. But going back to what you said about the death of the migrants, when we had the World Cup in China, look how many migrants died there. But nobody wanted to boycott it. Yeah,
but the thing is, the whole of the Western society is built on death of migrants.
That's what I'm saying.
Yo, the whole of Western society, like, obviously, just to think about even in terms of history, we're taught, because we live in England, about us being victorious in all these wars, but with every victory, you have a defeat on the flip side. So then you have to take yourself and look from their position and look at, okay, we got conquered. Our countries got destroyed by these people. So it's like, what is the propaganda coming from their side, if you don't understand what I mean? It's like, it's mad. It's like terrorism, for example. Obviously, I know this is going down extreme levels, but when you look at terrorism, like, okay, you people have come over to our country and you've killed my family, you've killed everything that I've had. Do you know what I mean? And then they could want to come back and do the same thing to the Western society, but we see them as terrorists because they've then come into our
we're being told the terrorists.
But that's what happened, right? Like controversial now, Aaron, if it's controversial, it's controversial. Well, that's what happened with 9/11, though, innit? Yeah. So you had Bin Laden that came over. Obviously, he orchestrated the Twin Towers and what happened there. Yeah, everybody knows about that. But then the narrative from American press was he just did it because we're free. He doesn't like the fact that we're free. Because in their holy land, where in Mecca, where America shouldn't really need to be anywhere near, they went and put a military base on there. And that's what my point is.
But then it's propaganda in itself. Like, even flip it back to the World Cup, England v Iran.
Yeah.
6-2, yeah?
Yeah.
All the man them scored.
All the man them scored.
Who did the paper show?
Grealish.
Okay.
And you know what? The thing about it is, there was only one goal, that didn't have black involvement.
Exactly. The paper is just Grealish. Yeah. And who set him up? Callum Wilson laid it on the plate for him. Laid it on the plate for him.
Should have just scored, man.
And then you flip it to the England-USA. Boring match. Dead game. 0-0. Not happy. Not happy with England's performance. Who did put on the front of the paper?
Who?
Saka.
Is that who they put on it? Obviously they put Saka. Do you know why? Because this is how sick.
This is why I don't read the papers.
No,
man.
but this is just listen though. This is how sick.
Man.
This is how sick the media is, right? Your media know that Saka,
the connotations, what you're going to be associating.
He went from Euros when my man missed that penalty. They thought, okay, what can the British people look at? Just glimpse and resonate with, and they glimpse and
now they drew again. They haven't performed again. You see Saka, you're thinking, it's my man's fault again. Even if you haven't watched the game, you're gonna be like, you're associating when you see Saka with not being victorious, but when you're seeing them win, you see a man like Grealish. It is crazy. My man Saka scored 2 goals.
2 goals in that game.
2 goals, first 2 goals of his World Cup, ever his career. 2 goals.
And he's the first player to do it since I can't remember the stat. Since I don't know I started that stat. He's the first player but since Beckenbauer, I think it was, or someone it's someone like that.
Even Jude Bellingham, who scored as a young teenager.
And he scored the first goal. The first goal got everyone going as well,
But they showed Grealish, who scored the last goal when it's 6-2. The game's already done.
Game's done, mate.
6-2, scored in like the 89th minute or something. The game's done.
Came on for 10 minutes, wasn't it?
But you're a City fan, no? And
and that's me as a City fan.
But all City fans hate Jack Grealish for
I
no
like
reason,
Jack. I like Jack. You
do
mad?
you like Jack? I love Jack.
Jack's a baller. You mad?
I love Jack.
People don't appreciate it.
Everyone always slags him off. Like,
numbers. My man's never scored that many goals. Even for Villa, when obviously he's scoring more goals, but when you're the best player in the team, they're gonna pass you the ball more. In here, in City, he does bits. People don't understand.
That's what I'm saying.
The fact that he's drawing a bag of man to him, and he's winning bare free kicks
and then
and
giving up space to everybody else.
Yeah, it allows people to operate. But
can I just say?
Let's not get started on this.
I know,
It gets me mad,
can I just say though? Well done, England, on getting through the group stages.
But you know what? Yeah, as much as always I can't watch him. I always end up watching him. That's a match.
Yeah, of course you will. You will always watch him. You will watch
him.
him. And it's a kind of a love-hate thing, innit? You want him to win it, but at the same time you don't, because the amount of gas.
Yeah.
From it.
Do you know what? Every time we win a game, and you hear, it's coming home. No! It frustrates me.
Yeah, we're coming home.
Yo, it frustrates the hell out of me. And do you know what's the worst thing about it is, we were watching the game, and then we're winning it, and then Laura will be next to me, you get me? And you'll be excited for that whole game because she knows I'm watching it intense. And then she'll go, is it coming home? I'm like, no, it's not. No, go away. Go away. You get me? I can't handle it. Now, that was a good episode, though. Thank you again for watching us. We do appreciate all the support that we're getting and the comments. So please, reach out to us on socials if you want us to talk about any specific subjects or cover any specific topics.
Like Anton's hairline.
Wow.
Bruh. Do you know what?
Wow.
Let's just
Come
start.
on. You know what we should address, actually? Not your hairline, but, receding hair and hair loss in black males.
Yeah, we'll cover that next episode, but how can you come up with your hair messed up like this and then start taking a piss out of mine?
Man like that?
Sort your hair out, take your hat off then.
man.
Right, exactly, so let's move on. So, you get me? That's what he does. I thought I was getting away because Jason wasn't here, you get me? I thought,
this is the parts that I don't see.
You'll be just in here. Yeah, I'll be safe, do you know what I mean?
Wow.
But anyway, thank you. You've been here with myself, Anton.
And it's me, Don Dada Dash.
And it's Rasta Dad.
Ollie 85. Peace out, guys.